A quick Friday morning crypto updates. I think overnight the cryptos were pretty stable, and most of the top coins are up anywhere from 2 to 6%. Um, the main one, Bitcoin, around 10,500 US dollars. Pretty good consolidation going on in that rate. I think it's positioning for the next round up. Um, if you look at since last week, it's gone up by over 15%. uh, Same goes to Bitcoin Cash, around 330. That's also up, doing well. Uh, Ethereum last night went up, I think around 3 or 5%. It's around 220. Then we see Litecoin is consolidating around the 98s. So it hit a high of around 101, 102 yesterday, and there was some profit taking. I still feel that Litecoin is one of the trend coin that's trending up. Again, when Bitcoin goes up, obviously the alts take a little backseat, and that's what's happening with Litecoin right now, and also with Ripple. Ripple at 31.5, 31. Ripple is, like I said, I'll talk a little bit more about Ripple today, because it's low cost and it's one of the easier ways to get into cryptos. Ripple is trading around 31 cents. Ripple has 4 digits. Okay, all the cryptos you can trade up to 4 digits, but it doesn't make sense for Bitcoin and all these other coins that are over hundreds of thousands to trade in cents, right? But Ripple is always around in the trading in the cents, because there are 100 billion ripples. About 50 billion are in escrow, so about 50 billion are in trading. So it's like GE stock. If you look at GE stock, there are several millions and millions of stocks in the marketplace. So every time there's a trading going on, you'll see it go up by few cents, right? As compared to, say, Amazon. Amazon goes up in $50 or $100 increments, because there are fewer stocks, and it's at around $2,000, or now around 1,800, right? So Bitcoin is like Amazon stock, right? It's around 10,500. But you can always buy small shares of Bitcoin. The least you can buy is $100, or even I think you can buy up to $50 Bitcoins, but you'll get like 0.0001 Bitcoin or 0.002 Bitcoin or something like that, right? So 0.1 Bitcoin is $1,000, right? And 0.5 is 5,000. Whereas Ripple, because it's trading in cents and around 31 cents, if you put in like say $310, you'll get what, 1,000 ripples, right? So with a smaller investment like $100 or $300 or $500, you can get more of ripples. So the way you play with trade with Ripple, when I say play, I'm referring to trading, is the more ripples you buy, you can trade in smaller percentage hikes. Meaning, if it goes up by even 1 cent and you have 10,000 ripples, it's equivalent to Bitcoin going up. And in case of Bitcoin, you can hold very less, right? Because each Bitcoin is now around 10,000. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's easier for younger, not just the younger, but the new entries to trade in Ripple and maybe Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic is also around, say, $5 or $6. So I love these guys. So Ethereum Classic is around $5-6, and all of these coins are in Coinbase. So if you don't know how to get to trade any of these, reach out to me. I'll point you to that. So for newcomers, you can always start with Ripple and Ethereum Classic, and even Litecoin. Litecoin is around $100, right? For $1,000 you'll get, what about 10 Litecoins, right? Versus 0.1 Bitcoin. But end of the day, Bitcoin is the driver. So If Bitcoin goes up, everything else will go up. Bitcoin is quiet, everything else will be quiet in cryptos, relatively speaking. And if Bitcoin is down, then obviously everything else will be down, because Bitcoin has 70%, 65 to 70% dominance, meaning in crypto trades. Right now, I think it's around 300 billion. 70% or 65 to 70% is Bitcoin. Okay, world over. Ripple is not as popular outside US. Ripple is a banker's coin. It's supposed to replace Swift. Ripple is exhaustible. What that means is every time a Ripple is transacted, it's consumed. Okay, so so you decrement one from the count, and it's used for, if you are familiar with Swift bank interbank transfers, every time you transfer, it uses a transaction. So Ripple is the banker's coin. They're trying to use that in the Europe and US, hopefully in the Asia too. So it will get exhausted one fine day if it's all going to get used. That's why it's at 100 billion. Okay, I'm trying to explain the use cases. Some of you or most of you who are not familiar with the technology, you need to know there is business use cases for all of this. Bitcoin has Bitcoin ATMs, their transactions. Everything else you hear in media is not accurate. There are so many projects using Bitcoin, all fair and legally, right? Bitcoin is legal, 100% legal. That's why we all pay taxes. We talk a lot about it. I've been paying so much of taxes in the past 3 years on Bitcoin. Every transaction that happens, you get taxed. Okay, so there's a lot of negative news in the media for Bitcoin and cryptos, because the bankers want you to buy their stocks, not go into Bitcoin, because they don't get anything out of it. That's kind of where things are. I think it's a positive day. The trend is up, so it is going to go up, Bitcoin on the cryptos. So if you're holding them, hold it. Still a good time to buy, because most of the time I hear folks trying to buy or ask me when it's really going up. The way you invest in cryptos is buy low, sell high, just like stocks. But since cryptos are very volatile, meaning that they go up and come down quickly, you have to be, especially if you are interested in cryptos, you should be ready to trade. It's not a long-term holding thing. I wouldn't suggest. But play for the short term too. You can do long term, but it's good always to take some profits and pay taxes. Okay. The way the taxes work is, out of my 3 years with Bitcoin, I can explain. When you file your taxes, you get your tax report from Coinbase. There are other tax softwares that will pull all the transactions. Then they tell you that this is how much you made. It's like most of the time it'll all be short-term capital gains, right? Because you're trading within few days or a few weeks. So the taxation will be higher. So depending on your total income for the year, this